Rich woman tests. Her husband, by pretending to be disabled, finds unexpected love in the janitor. A wealthy woman had everything: status, power, and a husband who seemed perfect in every way. But beneath the glamorous life, a haunting question lingered. Would her husband still love her if life stripped away her beauty, her grace, and her privilege? In a daring move, she disguised herself as a disabled woman, hoping to uncover the truth. What she found wasn't just betrayal, but an unexpected form of love that society often overlooks: the quiet dignity and compassion of a janitor, a man dismissed because of his race and class. This story will leave you questioning what true love and humanity really mean. The mansion on the hill stood as a symbol of wealth, power, and status. Its marble floors gleamed, its chandeliers sparkled, and its owner, a woman named Helena, lived as if nothing could ever shatter her world. To outsiders, she was a queen of fortune, married to Richard, a successful businessman whose charm could light up any room. Together, they seemed untouchable, the perfect couple others envied. Yet behind Helena's polished smile was doubt. She had grown up watching her mother being abandoned when illness took away her beauty. That wound never healed. Would her own husband remain loyal if life turned cruel? The thought plagued her until she devised a plan most would consider unthinkable. She would strip herself of privilege, at least in appearance. She would pretend to be disabled, confining herself to a wheelchair, moving slowly and struggling with daily tasks. She wanted to see Richard's reaction, to know if love went beyond physical perfection. But Helena's test was not only about her marriage. She lived in a world where the rich ignored the poor, where people of color were treated as if their worth was tied to servitude. She had seen it even in her own home, how staff were dismissed, spoken over, and judged. Her experiment would unknowingly reveal not just the truth about her husband, but the unseen humanity of someone society had overlooked entirely. The janitor who cleaned the very halls she walked daily without ever meeting his eyes. Helena had no idea her plan would change everything. The transformation was jarring. Gone were Helena's elegant heels, the effortless grace of her movements, the commanding presence that filled a room. Instead, she wheeled herself slowly through the mansion's endless corridors, wrapped in plain clothes, her hair pulled back in a way that made her nearly unrecognizable. At first, Richard seemed supportive. He kissed her cheek, assured her he would help. But as days passed, subtle cracks appeared. He grew impatient at her slowness, frustrated when she asked for assistance. His eyes, once full of warmth, now carried an unspoken irritation. He began spending longer hours away, claiming business meetings, but Helena noticed the lingering scent of perfume on his suits, a fragrance not her own. She had her answer. Though painful, Richard's love was conditional, tied not to her soul, but to her status and beauty. Yet her plan revealed something else, too. In the quiet loneliness of her disguise, Helena noticed the people she had long ignored, the workers who kept her world running. Among them was Samuel, the janitor. A black man in his 40s, Samuel moved silently through the mansion, mop in hand, head bowed to avoid confrontation. Most of the household saw him as invisible, a shadow in the background. But Helena, vulnerable in her chair, saw him differently. Samuel treated her with a gentleness that startled her. He held doors open without hesitation, adjusted rugs to make her wheelchair pass more easily, and once when she struggled with a dropped glass, he knelt silently, gathering shards while murmuring, "Careful, ma'am." What struck Helena was the absence of judgment in his eyes. While Richard recoiled from her weakness, Samuel treated her as sawhole. His respect was not performative. It was real, born from someone who understood what it meant to be dismissed by society. In time, Samuel's quiet presence became her anchor. They began speaking, small conversations about the weather, the house, and eventually life itself. Samuel shared fragments of his story, how he had been denied promotions, how clients avoided him because of the color of his skin, how he worked nights so his daughter could dream of a brighter future. Helena listened, and for the first time, she felt seen, not as a wealthy woman, not as a disabled pretender, but as a human being in need of compassion. The experiment that began as a test of Richard's loyalty was evolving into something Helena had not expected, a lesson in love, dignity, and resilience from the one-man society overlooked. The breaking point came on a stormy evening. Helena, still in her disguise, overheard Richard on the phone in his office. His words were sharp, cruel. He mocked her condition, complained about the burden of caring for her, and laughed as he mentioned a younger woman he was planning to meet that weekend. Helena's heart shattered. The man she had shared her life with, trusted completely, had failed the test in the worst way. She wheeled away silently, her tears mixing with the rain pounding against the windows. For hours she sat alone, wondering if love was nothing but an illusion. It was then that Samuel entered, quietly carrying a mop. But when he saw her trembling frame, he set it aside and simply asked, "Are you all right, ma'am?" Something inside Helena broke free. She confessed everything, not her disguise, not yet, but her feelings of abandonment, her fear of being unworthy, her despair at being unseen. Samuel listened without interruption, his steady gaze never wavering. Then he said words she would never forget. "Worth isn't measured by what you can or cannot do, or by how others see you. It's in the kindness you give and the truth you carry. No one can take that from you." In that moment, Helena realized the depth of what she had found. Richard had wealth, charm, and status, but Samuel had something infinitely greater, integrity and heart. And in Samuel's presence, Helena felt a love far more real than anything she had known. Days later, Helena revealed the truth. She was not disabled, not broken, but testing the foundation of her marriage. Richard's face drained of color when she confronted him with his betrayal. His excuses were hollow, his charm useless. For Helena, the illusion of their marriage was over. What surprised her was not Richard's downfall, but the clarity she now carried. Her wealth had blinded her to what truly mattered. The experiment had begun as a way to expose deception, but it had uncovered something far deeper, the quiet heroism of a man society dismissed. Helena offered Samuel gratitude and respect. But more than that, she gave him recognition, something he had been denied for so long. Their bond, forged in vulnerability and honesty, became a testament to the idea that love and dignity transcend race, class, and circumstance. The mansion, once a gilded cage, transformed into a place of change. Helena used her influence to improve conditions for the staff and to advocate for those whose voices were silenced. And though whispers circulated about the end of her marriage and her closeness with the janitor, Helena no longer cared about appearances. She had learned that true love is not about status, but about soul. And so, I leave you with this. In a world obsessed with wealth, beauty, and power, how often do we overlook the quiet strength of those who keep our lives running? How often do we mistake convenience for love? The answer, Helena found, is one we should all carry. Sometimes love doesn't come from where we expect, but from the places society ignores.